participation before.
2-0 to start the season. If you want to talk Trojans, but I think we should probably just start the show.
Okay.
Take 12 if you want the run uncut. Yeah. Unapologetic from the jump. Yeah. And no politics in this club. Just dirt from the streets and the creeks in the mud. Take 12. Best podcast for the Seahawks. #1 sports talk. Yeah, we got it on live. Take 12. Every episode, 12 hot takes. And we reppin' for Seattle, my place.
It's the Take 12 podcast. You know, I will admit that because our draft has just 30 seconds per pick, I didn't actually notice the auto drafting. I just thought my man was picking because it was taking me forever to decide who I wanted to. And I didn't even see his text until after the draft was over anyway. So he's in the clear.
So I will talk about one fantasy draft I was a part of. I've been a part of this league for a couple years now. And so we're sitting there doing the draft. It was everybody's there in person. I think there's only one person that auto drafted because they were busy. But the clock was like 20 or 30 seconds. It goes quick. And I got back-to-back picks because I had 10th and 11th again. And so I'm just trying to see what spots available. And I'm trying to look up Zay Flowers, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like late in the draft, but like, you know, he's a guy I was targeting. I was like, I want that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And the clock goes off, and all I had typed in was ZA. They gave me Bailey Zappi. He's not even on a roster.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But luckily, I typed in the Y, and I got Zay Flowers the very next pick. I got a quarterback.
They can help you.
One of my QBs isn't even on a roster right now.
Well, that's all right. Mrs. Davern in our league, she's got Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen on her team. So she's loaded with quarterbacks.
So he has no running backs and no flex. No
receivers. Gonna have to make a trade, I think.
That's trade deadline material. That's what. That's all that is.
The best part was at some point I go, wait a minute. Jalen Hurts who's got Josh Allen? And then I'm like clicking around. I go, you got them both. And then she goes, I do.
Oh no! Didn't even know.
Best part. Yeah. She finished in last place 2 years in a row. And usually the punishment in our league is that your team name gets chosen by the winner. The previous year, they rename your team. There was a vote going around this year. What do you do if you lose 2 years in a row?
I thought you got relegated.
She's down there. She's on probation with you, man. Welcome to the Take 12 podcast, everybody. I'm Brett. He's Lofa. And the podcast is proudly sponsored by Wiener Schnitzel. 2 locations up there in Western Washington, in Everett and in Fife. Go by and see them. Do something different for lunch today. They got chili dogs, chili burgers, corn dogs, mini corn dogs, French fries, and of course, all the delicious desserts from root beer floats to milkshakes and everything in between. Mention the Take 12 podcast, get a free small soda with any other purchase today. Even if you're going through the drive-thru, tell them right when you pull up, right into the speaker, Yeah.
Their milkshakes bring all the 12s to the yard.
It's game week, everybody. The Seahawks taking on the Rams this Sunday. Bobby welcomes back well, let's just forget that even happened. You know what I mean? Yeah, but the Rams are coming back to Seattle. Bobby's back in Seattle. Everybody's excited. I'm pumped. I can't wait to kick this thing off. I put JSN on the fantasy team. So let's see what happens this Sunday. Who knows if he'll actually be back for week 1 or not. We'll see. But he's looking good. He's out there practicing. Seems like he'll play. Lofa, get me out of my rambling and tell me why you're excited about this team and how you feel going into this season.
I think everybody's most excited to see 54 back in the fold, running the defense. And, we'd like to forget last year, right? But it's great to have him back. And really, I think – it's the focal point of the defense. The communication needs to be there. think Brooksy might get a chance to suit up and play too, is what all the indications were saying, all the reports. But Bobby being back, it's just like I said, that calming effect that he has as a leader. Even saw an article of Gino just saying it's great to have him back, and just running things, man, running the show and keeping everybody on the same page. Because I think that's a lot of what we were probably missing last year. We had the talent, on the defense, and even more now, but just that voice of reason to tell everybody, hey, I need you to stay here in this gap, or this is where they're hitting us, in the run game, because that's, as much as McVay likes to throw the ball, and Stafford, that's where I got to anticipate they're going to try to attack, early and often.
Mm-hmm. What about, didn't play much in the preseason. Does that matter? there's going to be so much juice for this game, division game right off the bat in Seattle. Of course, the 12s will be loud. So is it going to take a few plays? You got to get out there and get hit. I hear those cliches being thrown around from time to time.
No, year 12. We're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just adding stats to his resume and hopefully another, Super Bowl trophy. But there won't be any rust or anything. I think they did the right thing by him, managing the reps, because again, year 12, and this is a guy that's probably averaged 150 tackles, over a year per year over his career. So he's a true professional. Don't anticipate any slow starts. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Clint Hurt doesn't just send him a couple times just right off the bat to get him going.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I think the defense is going to set the tone, and they're going to try to set it early. I think they will set it early. And I think this entire season is about sort of the defense just reclaiming what they were and what we want them to be and what we know they can be, isn't it? At least early this season, isn't that what it's all about?
Absolutely. Championship football, when you get to the end of the season, that December stretch, playoff push, if things aren't already lined up for you to, clinch a division title or a playoff berth, that's where, teams generally hit their stride. But defensively, that's where you have to be solidified on defense and making statements and playing your best ball. But you make it a lot easier. I know we got the old adage, you can't win in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but you can win in the fourth quarter.
Oh, no.
But we could do ourselves a favor by coming out the gates hot, not having a slow start. And I think that it starts on the defensive side of the ball, because when we get to offense, I'll tell you that former middle linebacker, I might be more excited to see the offense, though.
Yeah. Well, because they got a lot of weapons, man. It's going to be fun. Really, like at Gino, he's accurate. He throws good ball. We know that. He can fit it in tight windows and all that kind of stuff. And just let him go. Let Gino. I won't say it. I won't. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But Gino F's like last year. So just let him get out there and go, and then also, the running backs, man, they're going to be running wild, I hope. This offensive line looked sick in the preseason. Before we fully switch over there, though, defensive line, real quick, it was the big focus. We've been talking about them a lot. Mm-hmm. But interestingly enough, I thought it was fun to hear Jaron Reed. I don't know if you heard him talking about like Michael Bennett and those guys coming in and coaching them up and all that kind of stuff. The D-line, right? Before we switch sides of the ball, we got to talk about the D-line because that's just a huge storyline going into this year. How they're going to perform and stand up against the run, but also just overall, Jaron Reed's back, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, talking about them as a whole, even the outside linebackers are a part of that. We're stacked outside, we're stacked inside, but we're not very deep in terms of depth there. So that's the only concern there. But yeah, signed Draymond to a big contract. He looks as advertised, everything that he was in Denver. Mario Edwards is a guy that's not being talked a lot about, that is savage, strong hands, veteran, knows how to play the game. And Jay Reed, it's great to have him back, because just when you talk about Michael Bennett, and Cliff was there too, helping out for a week or so in the offseason, the attitude is everything, up front. The game's won in the trenches, and we do have the pieces. We need to get a couple guys healthy. I think we will after 4 weeks. Pup we can make a decision on both Monet and Austin Faolu. Those guys are going to be big too. Interested to see how Mike Morris. I know he's been dinged up a little bit with injury, and Cam Young, the two rookies, do because they were drafted with the intent of playing them. It wasn't like, hey, maybe down the road. There was expectations there that they'll be key players for us.
Yeah, well, and patience, Hawks fans. We got a young roster, so just keep that in mind as you watch. They're going to be young, hungry, and all that. But young, they certainly aren't young. That's for sure. That means we get to watch them for a long time. Speaking of veterans, though, what about the rumors for Chris Jones that are out there? They're flying around on the internet. That he wants to come play in Seattle, or that they might be trying to work something out here in Seattle. And I mean, speaking of depth and all of that stuff. And I mean, how about just you probably don't want to speculate on whether he's coming or not, but just what about Chris and his game and stuff like that, and how it would help the Seahawks if he does?
I mean, that is one of the most dominant D tackles, since he's entered the league. That was a guy when he came out in the draft. I was like, we need a D tackle. Be great if we can add him. And you saw what he's done. He's just been dominant. He's, you can't quite give him the Aaron Donald praise yet. Aaron Donald, 3-time MVP, who we're also facing this week. Never like seeing Aaron. But yeah, he's that dynamic of a player, and he can change the whole landscape of the game for you. He can take over a game by himself. When you have a guy doing that, everybody else's life gets easier. The corners, they're not in man coverage for 7-8 seconds. It's balls coming out quick. In zone, you could jump routes and anticipate and get those windows. So he changes the whole pace of the game, and it would be amazing. I don't know cap wise how that would even be possible, because I think it would be a trade and sign. He would want a new deal, because that's the only holdup why he's not going back to Kansas City right now,
right?
Even though it's week 1.
Yeah, I don't know what it would take to get it done, or all the business side of it, and all that kind of stuff. All I know is that Seattle and Kansas City like to do deals for whatever reason. So I can see this thing getting done. Let's do it.
It'd be special.
Yeah. Okay, offense. Let's go over to the offensive side of the ball. We've talked receivers a bunch and all that kind of stuff. I want to know which position group has you most excited. But first, I want to tell you about Delta Airlines. It's the only airline that takes 12 flies. Producer Katie and I will be on the ground in Seattle this weekend for the game. We'll be in the stadium cheering on Bobby and everybody. And we can only do that thanks to our friends at Delta Airlines. Sign up for their 12s program, right?
Status.
12 status. I never remember what
Get it right.
Sorry. I don't have the copy in front of me. Here it is. Now, check this out. Now, we've been talking about 12 status on here, but I just want to tell you guys what you get, just so you know, okay? You get 1 mile for every yard the Seahawks throw.
Ooh.
You get a mile on Delta if you're signed up. So you're watching the Seahawks, you're rooting for the Seahawks, but you're getting Delta stuff because you signed up for 12 status. You also get main cabin 1 priority boarding on your flights. Okay.
Huge.
And then you also get 12% discount at the team store on the 12th of every month during the season. So if you want to buy your Seahawk gear at the team store, you do it on the 12th, you get 12% discount just for signing up for 12 status. I mean, what a deal. And it's free to sign up. You just go to the website.
Delta. A mile per passing yard? That's 4,282 according to last year's stats.
Dude, just giving away miles. And it doesn't even matter who throws them over there. I mean, right. They could have Kenneth Walker drop back and toss one. You get the points for every mile thrown or for every yard thrown. So check out the 12 status. Lofa, what position group other than wide receiver? Because we've talked about them a ton. I'm going to go somewhere else.
I'm going to stay in the trenches. This offensive line, unbelievable what they were able to do last year. Giving Geno the time. Again, it goes hand in hand. Geno gets rid of the ball in a timely fashion. He knows where to pick his spots, and it's when it's time to go. But there were several times where they gave him time to keep his eyes downfield and make the big play. or the crucial 3rd and 9 to lock it. So they didn't get enough credit last year. 2 young tackles, rookie tackles, and now in their second year, I'm excited to see the leap they take from year 1 to 2. But then they were just nasty in preseason, just mauling people. Mm-hmm. And brings me back to the days of when I used to watch, Walt Jones, Hodge Toback, Chris Gray, and Sean Locklear, just smoking defenses.
Yeah.
So you got 2 running backs like this. I know everybody, they always get the love, but the O-line is one that I'm particularly excited to watch.
Sorry, my alarm keeps going off because we're recording at a different time today. So
it was a sound effect.
Ignore that behind there. Yeah, man. No, I'm pumped, dude. I'm pumped all the way around. If the preseason was any indicator of the energy that they're gonna play with, we've talked about it for the last few seasons, like just the identity of the team. I hate that sort of like cliche sort of sports talk type talk, but like it was sort of lacking. But I think they already have it this year based on what we saw in the preseason. I can't wait to see it unleashed in the regular season, especially against the Rams, which let's talk about them for a second coming into the season. Stafford, they got Stetson Bennett, the 47-year-old college quarterback, backing him. Matt down there. Van Jefferson, their wide receiver, who's a big play threat, coming back this season after being injured and stuff. I mean, what about the Rams and our division foe here? We got a division battle right off the bat. What do you see from them? Lofa, you mentioned Aaron Donald.
Yeah, former Super Bowl champs. They didn't have the year they wanted last year. A lot of it was due to injuries. And I don't know what they have yet. I don't even know if they know what they have yet. Even going all through offseason and camp, lose Ramsey, lose Bobby Wagner. Like, those are not just important pieces. Those are leaders on that team.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's still out with injury. Not sure what's going on with his hamstring.
Yeah, but if I'm pointing to anybody who is there that could really make our day long, is Aaron Donald. And he had ankle surgery, and even back in May or June, he was saying he's 100%, which is scary, even though he's been in the league 9-10 years now. 3-time defensive MVP. Only him, J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor to do that. We're talking about one of the greatest guys to ever put on a helmet. And we've seen the problems he's presented to us in the past. And I think they've added some pieces too in the draft, some young guys that I'm going to be watching. But other than that, it's largely unknown. And we'll see how they want it to. I would anticipate, if Stafford's healthy, I know it was the elbow or neck, but if he can still move outside the pocket a little bit, I anticipate they got to run play action on us. And that's what they'll just, keep coming back to it, stretch and then stretch play action, boot, like the things that just kind of, they're not going to gain huge chunks of yardage like they've done in the past, especially with Kupp out. But they can pick you to death and really tire out a defense that way. And those are kind of like the annoying offenses to play, like kind of like when I was playing Peyton back in the day. They'd run stretch, and all of a sudden it's stretch deep shot or stretch, low crosser to Reggie Wayne that goes for like 20, 30 yards. He catches it for 5, and then he turns it up the field for 30.
Well, and they know that we're gearing up to stop the run. So that would make sense that in their game plan would be a lot of play action. I have a feeling this might be brace yourself, Seahawks fans, like an annoying Rams game like that we used to have back in the day against Jeff Fisher and stuff with fake punts and just annoying sort of trick plays at the right moment that have a way of getting under your skin and a funny bounce of the ball one way or the other. Because like I said, we're going to come out juiced up in this one, and so I think that's if I'm cautioning us in anything, it's that, like, just coming out a little too amped maybe and letting this one sort of take that funny bounce of the ball. Like, let's stay within ourselves here, because it's the Rams who are reeling a bit, but the Rams who have been reeling a bit in the past sometimes can get us. You know what I mean?
Way to get us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the biggest thing, and like that's probably like the toughest thing, I think, when you have a young team, is to have them keep their composure and not get too excited. Stay disciplined. Like, let the game come to you. Like, if you're in the hook, I don't want to see your ass in the flats chasing chasing a running back to the flats, and then they hit the hook for 12, 15 yards. And then the safety has to make like a game-saving tackle or drive-saving tackle. So it's just those are the little things that I'm on edge about. But other than that, I feel like we stack up really well against them, including with Aaron Donald, with how well our line's been playing. So, I think this might be time to get to our predictions, my friend.
I was going to say that's where we go next. We do the score predictions every week here. We'll give you ours. You guys give us yours. We'll put something out on our social media, which is at Take12Pod, either on Twitter or Instagram. You guys predict the final score of the game coming up this weekend. And if you nail it right on, we'll give you a $50, what is it? Yeah, $50 gift card from our friends at Simply Seattle. And even if you don't nail it, we will decide whoever comes closest to nailing it and hand out a $25 gift card from our friends at Simply Seattle. So either way, you win something over there possibly. So make sure that you enter. And you know what, Lofa? I've been going through back and checking. No one has ever predicted a Seahawk loss. Ever. In any of our contests over there. Very optimistic fans over there, but I love it. So go enter the score prediction challenge on our social media at Take12Pod. Lofa, what say you for this game? What do you think the final outcome will be, and what's the score?
First game at home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our offense is going to get off just fine. Like, just start off. I don't see them not doing well. So I'm going to give them, it's a Seahawks win, of course, like you just said. And we'll go with the funky scores, 27-16.
Ooh, all right. Nice. I love a weird one. Okay. Well, I wrote down a strange score as well, not so much on the Seahawks side of the ball, but on the Rams side of the ball. It'll be hopefully a Seahawks victory, I'm predicting here. And the final score will be, I agree with you, I think the offense will get it together, but maybe not set the world on fire. The final score will be Seahawks 23, Rams 18.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark it down, everybody. You guys can give us your score predictions on our social media at Take12Pod and enter for a chance to win those gift cards from our friends at Simply Seattle. Also, check out Simply Seattle for all of your apparel needs. They got all the cool, Seahawks sports gear from Kraken to Mariners and Seahawks, even Sonics. They're the world's largest Supersonics store. And use our promo code Take12 to take 12% off of your purchase at Simply Seattle. Lofa, what storylines around the NFL? What are you watching as we go into this season? We talked about Hard Knocks a little bit. I think Aaron Rodgers in New York is probably the biggest storyline probably heading into this season. But for you, what are some that you're watching?
Well, there's been a lot of buildup around it, right? There's so much hype, and we'll see how they handle the spotlight. Right now, is the kind of the holdouts we were just talking about, Chris Jones, but then also Bosa, and that helps us. If I hope that holdout goes long.
Yeah, hold out as long as possible.
Hold strong, Bosa. Hold strong.
Right.
Like you hold that edge. Hold it strong.
Yeah.
But that's an MVP caliber player that they'd be missing. So those are kind of things that kind of catch your attention. I'm trying to think what else. How the young quarterbacks are going to do. There's a couple being thrown right into the fire. Bryce Young, Carolina.
Yep.
And he's won at every level. But and I'm sure he's ready the way he prepares, and everything, all the success he's had in high school and then at Bama. But it's just like, do you risk, a kid's confidence, especially at that position? And I think this is where talk about guys like, Shanahan, they do a good job of grooming guys to be ready. He's like, okay, now it's his time. He's ready. Put him in. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. And then Anthony Richardson, ton of talent. I believe he's the day one starter in Indy. And just curious to see how they do.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of talking about Aaron Rodgers, but for me, this is a big sort of changing of the guard season, possibly in the NFL. All the old guys are kind of gone. Aaron Rodgers is the last one. I just read over the weekend that he is the oldest player in the NFL this season, which is just kind of weird because I remember him being drafted, and I'm older than him. So, but Tom's gone. Peyton's been gone for a while. Drew Brees has been gone for a while. Phillip Rivers is gone. And there's, like you just said, there's these young quarterbacks that were drafted this year. But then also, if you're watching college football right now, there's a bunch of quarterbacks sort of coming after. And with all the old guys gone, it's all these young guys now. And so the league is sort of changing. We were talking about our fantasy draft. I don't know half the guys I drafted. I'm telling you. Like, I got Odell Beckham in like the last round. I don't know what is going on out there. But it's just a lot of youth. But I'm excited for that. I think it's good for the game, obviously. And they're freakishly talented dudes. I mean, I'm watching like Anthony Richardson. Some of those throws are just ridiculous. And so I think there's going to be a ton of highlights that are incredible this year from all these young guys. And, I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah. Speaking of college football, did you see what Colorado did?
Yeah. Okay. On my list next. Okay. Let me tell you about Epic Seats. Epic Seats. Nobody beats EpicSeats.com. Use our promo code. I'm going to tell you more about them in a second because we have our giveaway, right? The training camp giveaway with Epic Seats. So we'll get really into Epic Seats because you brought it up. I got to jump into it right away. Because next on my list, all I wrote was college football, and then in all caps, Dion!
Prime.
But also the players, man. I mean, Coach Prime for sure. Colorado, huge storyline, everything that's going on with the Pac-12, all of that. But then also his players, man. Just his own son playing quarterback and everything that goes along with that, and the 500 yards, and then young Dion. Like, how does Dion coach the next Dion? Also, this is crazy.
Unbelievable. Yeah, talking about Hunter.
Receiving a pick in the red zone. I mean, running over, yelling it with Dion. Just the energy. I don't want to root for the Buffaloes, Lofa. I don't want to.
But I don't either, man. I can't help it though.
As a Husky fan, I can't. But I was. Yeah.
I mean, they're, like you said, they're not coming. They're here.
Yeah.
And that is. I said it would take a year or two. Normally it does. I was wrong. That game, and they have a tough matchup this week because of coming off the highs of the emotional win, which everyone counted them out. They went into TCU, who was just in the national championship. I know TCU lost a couple key players, the quarterback, but they went toe-to-toe.
Yes, on the road.
Even went down, right? They marched down. Shador, who had the quarterback, 510 yards, a Buffalo record, had an unbelievable game. I think he was 36 of 47 passing. There was a couple drops that would have led to another 150-plus yards of receiving. He could have had 600 yards and they were good passes too. The precision, the accuracy, 4th down and 2, making the right throw to the flats. That's hard to make that throw to the flats. Like, there's a lot of nerve going on normally for a college kid, not for him. He's primed for the moment. If I could use any word, he stepped up and he looked like Dion. If Dion had to play quarterback, he threw it to him. That kid Edwards had 4 touchdowns as a freshman, unbelievable. And then Hunter played 130 snaps. He played 2 full games. In
100+ degree heat. It's hot in Texas right now. It's humid right now. I mean, it's crazy.
The only thing I could think that saved them was it's still hot in Colorado and they're playing at altitude. So when you come down to sea level a little bit,
True.
You might, but it's still 100 degrees and that's 130 snaps. And so I don't know if that's sustainable. Not going to say it's not, right?
Right.
But unbelievable. All 3 of those guys should be up for the Heisman right now.
Incredible. Including Dion again. Why not?
I mean,
it's incredible. Because no matter what happens going forward from here, they did that, and it was awesome, and it was fun, and it was just, I don't know, it was electric. I'm so glad I didn't comment on Dion ever because he doesn't have any receipts on me. I didn't even really know what to think, but I'm excited now.
it's not super surprising. Dion's been a champion everywhere he's gone.
Totally.
Right. So what do you think he's going to instill in these young men on top of the confidence? The
Totally.
confidence is there, and that's everything.
Dude, when Dion's doing, but when Dion's like doing NFL analyst stuff at the desk, he could get you up and get you ready to run through a wall. Of course, he's going to be able to motivate someone in college to go out there and play football. Like, of course, if nothing else, he's going to have you ready to play with energy and positivity, and he's got his players' backs, and they can feel that, and so they're going to be in games and stuff. Like, I don't know anything about like the scheme and all that kind of stuff, but just as far as playing for him, it just looks like fun.
Well, scheme wise, they're only going to get better. That's the scary part.
Yeah, for sure.
Because to get 68 or 70 new transfers in the record, and Texas State, who pulled off the upset of Baylor, they did something similar in terms of how many guys they had come in. But to get them all to believe, because that game, I watched it from start to finish, because I had to see what are they going to be this year, right?
Yeah.
And it went back and forth, lead change, back and forth. And, the TCU is a team that's been there for the last decade or two of like, okay, well, don't worry. In the fourth, this is where you separate, right? And it didn't happen. That was the wildest shit I've ever seen. It just answered every single time. But, I mean, that's the mark of a champion.
Hell yeah, man. That was fun. It was fun. It was fun to watch. All college football was fun all weekend. The Huskies, shout out to Kalen DeBoer and everything they're doing over there. They're off to a good start. Put it on Boise State. WSU put it on them. I mean, talk about new faces in new places. USC, big win again. It's funny because the Pac-12, speaking of Colorado, they're playing great.
Yeah.
Product, isn't it? They probably have the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, just top to bottom in terms of they probably have the most quarterback talent in the country. Super fun games. They're whooping up on people, and yet everyone said, let's not do this anymore. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
One last hurrah.
One last hurrah.
I did see one thing that was hilarious was after the game, Dion went over to congratulate the coach, but then he went over and they had a picture. There's a meme going around of him congratulating one of the players who played his ass off for TCU. And the meme was like, this is the last coach I want talking to my player after a game because of the portal.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, hold up, guys. We got a team meeting before.
Have you seen they're playing them now? And I think they're brilliant. They're not a sponsor, but they could be if they want to be. Hey, Dr. Pepper, call us. But that whole Dr. Pepper Fansville thing with Bosworth and the whole thing, like that thing's just been building out year after year, right? But now they have the transfer portal on there. The guys are just getting sucked into like all lost Stranger Things or something.
Oh my God!
Transfer portal. It's out of control. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I love it. Hey, we got to give away some prizes. We have our training camp package to give away. People have been entering. You guys can always enter our contest by emailing us. It's seahawkspod@gmail.com. That's the email. Or take12pod@gmail.com. They both work. The winner of the training camp pack giveaway thing. And we got a yearbook signed by Bobby Wagner and Tyler Lockett. We got cups and sunglasses and all kinds of stuff that Katie stole while we were at training camp. The winner is Tammy Miller of Kirkland, Washington.
Woo. Congrats, Tammy.
Yeah. She's a longtime Seahawk fan. Hit us up. She didn't say that she listens to the podcast each and every episode, but I'll say that for her because I know Tammy's out there listening. So thanks for entering, Tammy. And thank you to everyone who entered. We'll have much more contests along the way as we go forward through the season. Like right now, we need to give away 2 tickets to the Rams game this weekend, courtesy of our friends at Epic Seats. Go to epicseats.com, use our promo code, or let them know that we sent you by mentioning Take 12. And you can take 12% off when you're purchasing $100 worth of seats. Or if you're selling your seats to Epic Seats, you can get an extra $12 per ticket that you sell just for mentioning this podcast. But they also give us tickets to give away. So if you want to go to the Seahawks-Rams game, all you got to do is
Nobody beats Epic Seats. Email us.
Email us the phrase that pays. Nobody beats Epic Seats. But also, tell us why you want to go to the game. Share a fun Seahawk memory. Share a Rams v Seahawks memory. My personal favorite is when we scared the bejesus out of Johnny Hecker. Who was that? Was that Cliff Averill? Who was that?
Yeah,
behind him.
It was Cliff and Mike B.
Yeah, Mike V. That was pretty good. I mean, look, Hecker took a cheap shot on somebody from behind. He hit Cliff.
He got Cliff. He got Cliff on a good one. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good times. That gif runs in my brain on a loop. Him getting scared and ducking down. But anyway, share a memory or two with us on the email, and then we will pick one out at random and let you know who won on social media and all that stuff. So you don't worry, we'll get that handed out before the game on Sunday. And thank you very much to our friends EpicSeats.com for facilitating that and making that happen. Anything else, Producer Katie, before we get out of here?
No.
Take12travel.com if you want to party with us. New York, Dallas, LA.
What a pro.
And
look at this guy.
And we have a tailgate party.
That's right.
Mission Outdoors and Venison Pho. Is it Pho or Pho?
Go down to Venison Pho. It's down by the stadium. We're going to be there before the game this Sunday. Producer Katie and I will be there, like we said, flying up there on Delta. And so we'll be there hanging out. Tickets are available.
Check our socials.
Online. Check our socials. We'll be putting links out there. Check Lofa's social. He'll be putting links out there. I'll be putting links out there. You guys can buy tickets. So that's the tailgate this weekend before the home game up there in Seattle. All proceeds benefit Mission Outdoors, great charity, supporting veterans and our heroes and the people who, who do it better than me. I don't know what to say. I got so many things in front of me here. Also, we don't edit, so I don't ever know how to get out of it.
That page was blank.
Come to the tailgate. And then, if you want to go to New York, if you're going to New York, and if you want to buy tickets to a special dinner with Lofa and our Seahawks legends, if you're in New York, you're looking for something to do on that Monday night, late in September, we're selling tickets for that. It's take12travel.com. We also got trips available still on our trip to Dallas. So check that out, take12travel.com, everybody. And we'll hook you up with discounts on Delta, too. Man, just so much information. If you listen to one episode of this podcast, you got contests, free sodas at Wiener Schnitzel, 12 status, ticket giveaways, flight discounts, hilarious fantasy football stories. Lofa, break us down, man.
Oh man, preseason is over. Thank God. That's how I always felt. I know that's how these players feel. It's live, man. It's divisional. It's everything you want in a week 1 matchup. We take one step closer to that division title by beating the Rams. So beat the Rams on 3. 1, 2, 3. Beat the Rams.